Can you do the entire thing?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. I'll be good. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna blow your head off like raspberry jam.
Perfect. Welcome to the Visual K podcast. I'm your host, Frederick, also known as Whirling Black, and with me, as usual, I have...
Your co-host, Alexei.
And I'm the editor, James, also known as Plant.
And since this is part 2 of our Dear and Grey Macabre episode, if you haven't heard it yet, you should probably go back and listen to the first half. But yes, as in that one, we have the very same guest with us.
It's me, Perrow. I never know how to intro myself. I'm just like, hey guys, what's up?
Yeah, so it's Aaron again. Sorry, guys.
It's me again.
He insisted on it.
I did. I was like, you guys need to tell me when you're doing this because I'm at least sitting in on it so I can make noises. And I was gonna chew a carrot while you guys talked, but I already finished the carrot. So,
well, you were eating a banana bread in the last one.
Was it really?
I totally heard it.
That's true.
While you were talking, heard the fork clicking around that I had to edit out.
Wow.
High-pitched fork clicking.
You gave James 8 hours of extra editing work.
Yeah, it was awful.
Good job.
Put aside an entire day just for that fork.
Yeah.
That's horrible. I apologize.
No, it's cool. I understand. Banana bread is delicious.
Yeah.
I've never had it, actually. I am not even sure what it tastes like. Is it savory or sweet, or what kind of bread is it?
It's sweet.
It's like
Tastes
semi-sweet. Yeah. The way we make it, we put chocolate chips in it. So it's kind of like, imagine a slight banana flavor in a soft, moist bread, and then chocolate chips.
Is it like a sponge cake, or?
No, no, definitely not. Sponge cake is a little more soft and airy.
Oh, okay.
This is like dense.
Oh, like a Christmas pudding or something like that.
Yeah.
My points of references are not very American. I apologize.
I had to think for a second when the last time I had a Christmas pudding, and I can't.
Yeah, it's a very dense bread with fruits and raisins and shit in it. It's pretty terrible, but the English love it. So, since the last time we recorded, there's actually been some developments that we want to discuss concerning DIMLIM and the episode we recorded on them. Alexei, do you want to take it from there?
Yeah, so, as I'm sure you're probably aware by now, shortly after we put out our episode What's Going On with DIMLIM, the band has announced that they will disband after their last live that's going to be held on February 25th. So I think first of all, we at the VKPC owe all 3 DIMLIM fans a sincere apology. We didn't know Retz was listening, so
yeah,
couldn't help it.
Yeah, the episode came out and then he heard it and he was like, I guess I have to call it quits now. I can't take this.
I was going to say, I thought you guys were the cause. Like, you were the reason for the Kai song.
Dude has been Duolingo in English for 1 year. And now he's like, you know what, I'm never talking to these fucking people again.
Yeah. There's actually a lot of controversy as well about their disbanding, There's a whole thing going on with unrefunded tickets or something.
Yeah, so just when you think that now all of this might be over and we're never going to hear anything from these guys ever again, what do you think happened to those dates that they booked? Well, apparently they ghosted the organizers with not even as much as a sunimasen.
Brutal.
So basically what happened is that just as things were winding down, word got out on the J-Rock 1 boards that one of the organizers was indeed either threatening or thinking about suing the band. A person who ran DIMLIM Brazil on social media had been contacted by the band, as they surely were persuaded by all the come to Brazil posting. Well, anyway, this person knew an organizer, so they got the gig booked. The organizer, here on out referred to as Sweet Panda, got the thing set, and then a few minutes later, I guess DIMLIM was going to perform in Chile, Brazil,
Mexico,
and Russia. Okay, but anyway, the Brazil gig was going to be well attended. Apparently, they were even planning for further dates inside Brazil. So anyway, according to this person on JRO, the first backlash started when the band put out Misk and word got out that they're not really going to play the Visual K stuff.
Yeah, everyone wanted refunds.
Yeah, people were like kind of like, what the fuck is this shit? And the organizer decided to contact the band, and they somehow put together a deal where the band was going to play for 2 hours, featuring both older and newer stuff.
Which is pretty crazy because, you know, VK bands usually play like 70 minutes at most when they play overseas.
Yeah, honestly, some of the stuff on that post, I don't know if I take it like, you know, exactly as gospel. 2 hours sounds pretty insane. Actually, I would love a 2-hour DIMLIM gig. Just so you know, I would have been pretty happy with that. Actually, any Visual K band that came abroad playing 2 hours is unheard of these days.
Yeah.
So throughout this, COVID is wreaking havoc and the shows are being postponed left and right until Retsu just stopped replying to their DMs. The organizer had allegedly paid for flights, merch, venue booking fee. So in the end, all the organizers got stood up, except for the Siberian one, I guess, because Ivan's Irish pub lets bands play for free on Saturdays.
That's an awesome venue.
Yeah, it's sick. It's the hottest place in Irkutsk, really. Obviously, you cannot pull off like an international civil lawsuit or whatever.
I think it's worth mentioning that the bookers mentioned that they wanted to like bring a lawsuit to the band over, you know, cancellation of contract or something like that, which is just dumb because it would never work.
The lawsuit is going to cost more than the actual losses.
And, you know, like, even if they would, like, bring a lawsuit to Japan and somehow manage to win one, I mean, I don't think any of these guys have money to pay for the venues or the merch or anything like that. So it's like...
I don't think Retsu even has a permanent address. They're not going to find this dude under a bridge somewhere.
Yeah, honestly, they should just cut their losses. And, I mean, their reputations are screwed.
Yeah, exactly. There's not going to be any bookers overseas that would book any future bands of theirs, I think, based on this.
Yeah, for sure. They're not leaving the soil. I mean, who knows? They probably even can't because of like criminal records. Yeah, so are you guys...
we should probably mention that that's purely speculation on Alexis' part, and we are, you know, not accusing any members of DIMLIM of criminal activities.
Yeah, sorry, it's about that. Yeah, so are you guys Team Retsu or are you guys Team Sweet Panda?
I'm always going to be Team anything against Retsu, so I guess I'm Team Sweet Panda, even though I'm sure they suck in their own way.
A Sweet Panda, he didn't mean what he said.
Sweet Panda, that's a cool name.
Sweet Panda is an organization, so I can insult them.
Yeah, but see, Sweet Panda, if you want to be a sponsor of the show...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We'll promote the shit out of all the gigs that will get cancelled in the future.
Yeah, so I think just to sum it up, basically, you know, it's kind of was a very funny timing. We released an episode called, like, What's Going On with DIMLIM, or whatever we call it. I should probably know what we call our episode, hang on. Yeah, What Happened to DIMLIM? And we released it like a couple of days before they actually announced their disbandment. And the what happened part was just, you know, trying to hint at what happened with their stylistic change. But I think now people assume it's about the disbanding announcement and everything.
Retsu was just on his computer, so I'll show you what happened. And then next day, off.
Yeah, exactly.
To be fair, they must have known for a while.
Yeah.
Because they already had the last live location booked and they haven't done jack shit for like 1 year.
Yeah, I mean, they've been sort of like, you know, moribund for quite a while, so let's not cry about it. So I think the next part of what we should do is that we have an announcement to make, right, guys? That we're going to host our first live episode of the Visual K podcast sometime in the first half of January next year, where we are going to go through our favorite Visual K releases of 2021 and, you know, take questions from our beloved audience and all of that stuff you do with a live show.
I hope I can make it.
Yeah, you can be make a guest appearance where you mention your favorite release of 2021.
I mean, I have like maybe two favorites from the year.
Yeah, see,
Tops.
I think we can use all the padding we can get to fill out an evening.
It's not going to take a lot of time to go over everything.
Yeah, that's true.
There's one thing that I can promise you, and that is that I'm going to drink a lot.
Yes. Which means that a live episode in its released form will probably be like 1/4 of the length of the live episode, because we will need to cut out so much, you know, juicy stuff that Alexei is going to say while he's drunk.
Yeah, so come listen to us live because it'll be better.
It's true. It'll be far more awkward.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah. You guys are going to enjoy us trying to say our introduction 10 times and, stumbling on the words and all that stuff. I think that's it for our updates. And I think what's left now is just to welcome you guys back into the Dear and Grey Macabre episode. We're going to continue where we left off with track number 6, Hotarubi. Enjoy.
Track 6 is Hotarubi, and anyone who's familiar with Duran Gray and the songs that the members write could guess who composed this song. It was Shinya. Shinya's great with all the sort of emotional, almost like pseudo-classical inspired pop ballads. It feels kind of Urameki-ish, actually. The chorus especially feels almost like Urameki's sister chorus.
Yeah, good observation. I didn't think about that, but I agree.
Yeah, it's a very ambient kind of song with strings and electro beat, and of course another Shinya staple is a female harmony vocal in the background, which I love. Gives it a nice vibe.
I think you can sort of tell that Shinya is a Yoshiki disciple through all of these things.
Sure.
He has the classical instrument added with the violin and he plays the piano and all of those things as well.
And actually, fun fact, the violinist for this song is the same violinist for Malice Miser's Merveille album.
Oh, nice.
See, that's funny that you guys would think so, because this is when I was going to bring up that one of the, going back to what Aaron said before, Ed, that I can really feel Yoshiki's absence. Everything on Gauze, his input, is very cheesy and epic. Just like Exit Japan, basically. That bombastic orchestra type of deal. Everything here is more slower, quieter. Yeah, I think it's like a far cry from everything on Gauze.
I agree. Gauze sounds like all songs that could be like stadium songs, which I think is Yoshiki's.
Yeah, that's what there's nothing
MO.
stadium about this album.
See what I want to say again is actually I want to reiterate the point Alexi made on the first track, that if you take the chorus of this track in isolation, I do get the comparison to Urameki, but the rest of the track I think is completely disconnected from all of that.
Definitely.
So you have some components that I can feel the sort of relation to the previous album, but then you have all of these interesting things tacked on top. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, you even have that weird sine wave sound at 3.5 minutes that sort of always makes me think that my headphones have broken or something like that. Do you guys know which one I mean? Like when there's this very high-pitched, fussy noise in one of the ears.
There is a lot of kind of instruments and sounds on this album that I really cannot identify.
Yeah, they went kind of synth heavy on this one, I think.
Yeah, this song especially, I think, is, when they play this one live, it's the guitarist is stand there for a lot of the song, and Kyo is just singing by himself.
Wow.
There's also that underwater sounding guitar effect at one point.
Yeah, that is true. I think all of the instruments are very understated in this song. It does feel like it's sort of like the vocals' time to shine in a lot of ways.
Actually, isn't this the first ballad on the album so far?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's my favorite for sure, because it's a nice breathing track after all the heaviness. You can just kind of sit back and listen. And honestly, I sort of benefit from not being fluent in Japanese because the lyrics are not relaxing at all. They're quite grim.
Well, of course, that we're back at that point.
But actually, yeah, typically it's upbeat with sad lyrics. This is just sad music with sad lyrics. I mean, the song's about World War II. It's basically the trauma that children endured during the war, and it's just basically a Grave of Fireflies kind of song.
Yeah, it's. I think this is another one of those songs I wasn't big on when I was a kid, but has really grown on me in later years. The last 10 years or so, I've really started to appreciate this one. Mm-hmm. Just because probably what you said, it's a very untypical Deering Gray song.
Yep, except for that chorus.
Yeah, exactly. The chorus is it's an interesting twist to have that sudden or upbeat chorus in the middle of this very somber ballad. And we also mentioned, James was gone. I mentioned the weird sine wave at 3 minutes also, if you heard that.
Oh, yeah, that's like piercing.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I think my headphones broke, yeah.
Yeah, I think the first time I heard this, I was wondering if that was like a mistake or something.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add about this one? Well, I guess you didn't hear what we talked about. But...
No, I don't really have anything to say, but this is why I went to the bathroom during this discussion.
Oh, right. All right, okay.
Passive aggressively showing the band off.
No, I mean, I like this one.
At a concert and you're like, oh, it's a toilet break.
No, I think it's good. I just don't have anything in particular to say.
That's actually Alexei during some concerts. He's just like, I don't care about this song. I will run to the toilet.
That happens when you start your previous Deering Gray song with 5 shots in succession.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, if you were at a Macabre show where they were playing the album up to Hotarubi, you're probably worn out already, to be honest.
Yeah, because every song is pretty long.
Yeah.
So far, like every song is about 4 or 5 minutes. This one's 6 minutes.
Yeah, that's actually one of the valid complaints about this album. I guess some people would have that some of the songs are quite a bit long. I feel like they wouldn't detract from this song to shorten it a bit, but on the other hand, I'm fine with the length of this album. I don't find it tedious to listen to. Probably because it's very coherent, the album as a whole. I mean, there's not a lot of 70 plus minutes albums I could say that I can sit through back to back without getting tired. Maybe depressed towards the end, but, not tired.
Just a little bit sad.
Yeah, exactly.
Next one?
Yeah, sure, we can move on to the...
Track 7.
Yeah. So this was the second single's title track, KR Cube. And you can tell why it's a single. It feels like this sort of like instant classic of a track. And it was probably my favorite of this album when I was a kid, just because of its sort of straightforward, fun, bouncy sound. And it's very VK in all of its quirkiness as well.
It is. I feel like if there's any song on this album that's the party song, this is the party song.
Absolutely. And I can attest to this during the lives. This was the one, the track usually played in the encore or towards, actually in the encore nearly every time, I think. And the band were like partying, running around the stage and flexing and showing off and throwing things to the audience and
shouting aggressively and flexing their biceps. And
yeah, exactly. And even Kyo was like taking part in the foodie moves at some shows, doing some they do this hand waving thing during the chorus, and he was like showing it off on stage at least one of the shows, possibly several. So I think he was having fun as well.
This is another brilliant use of very off-kilter effects and samples. I had a similar experience with this track as you had with the one that was my fave, is that I didn't like the song at first. And it was because this song is kind of weird to me. Like his singing in the chorus was a little off-putting to me. It's just all the funny sounds that he's making, but that's actually the richness of this track. And it's an outlier in Deering Gray's overall discography as well. It's a raison d'etre type of track, which they don't have too many of.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good analogy. They both have the kind of similar upbeat party vibe.
Yeah, this is another one of my favorites, I think. And it has some cool electronics, and the bass is really good on it. And the chorus or the hook at a certain point of this song is really catchy. And yeah, it's a good party song.
Yeah, and also the bass intro is great. Like the effect on the bass during the intro is really cool. Yeah.
And also I feel like this song feels especially stand out because the guitar tone in it, especially in the bridge, that sort of iconic da 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 da. The tone on the guitar feels very almost fake, almost like it's a fake synth plug-in guitar. It's almost like it's gated and then distorted and then gated again so that it cuts off without any sustain. It's a weird sound, but it's amazing, and I've never heard it in any other Duran Gray song.
Why don't they do that kind of stuff anymore? Like, seriously.
It's sad.
I feel like also for this song, you have to mention its amazing video. Like, I would say this might be one of the best, if not the best, Duran Gray PV in terms of like just the sheer like story and build up and all of that. It's not just a band playing somewhere; it's they're actually trying to like build up a lot of imagery.
Yeah, it's almost like it has a narrative. Like
Exactly.
the guys are in a club and Dai like shoots everyone in the head. Like he's like a mobster.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, Kaoru is wearing a hat with a stuffed fox, which is great.
I don't even know if it's stuffed or it's just skinned. It's just lying on his hat.
Yeah. It's a fox hat, which is, you know, amazing. The man had a way with hats in those early days. Just look at the Akuro no Oka PV as well, where he's wearing like a huge lampshade on his head.
He did have a way with hats back in those days. I miss hat Kaoru.
Yeah, same. Now he's just more like, I don't know, Fedora Kaoru maybe.
Fedora.
I don't know, he wears those like weird cowboy hats at some points, I think.
Every time they play Sustain the Untruth, the fedora starts spinning and it flies off like Kung Lao, decapitating a few passerby on its way.
Just kills a bunch of audience members.
Everybody cheers.
Well,
Yeah, the PV for this was like my way of getting my friends into Duran Gray, because it was so, and it was ubiquitous. Everyone had a copy of the KR Cube video on their PC somewhere.
Yeah.
And everyone knew about it, and it was just a craze with my friend group, at least. And every time I talked to new people who were just getting into Visual K, they either knew it, or if I sent it to them, they were just hooked immediately, because it's kind of an infectious vibe.
yeah, I think this is, you know, the connoisseurs version of the obscure PV craze that happened later.
Yeah.
You know, when everyone and their moms had to see the obscure PV because it was the coolest and most shocking thing you could show your friends.
Yeah, exactly.
I think everyone who was into VK at some point when they were quite young had a phase when they showed off obscure PV to their friends.
Yeah, I begrudgingly admit it. It's kind of the, hey, we're Japan type of shit, which is I really cringe at later on.
Is this the one with the gun?
Yeah, this is the one with the gun, KR Cube. There we go. Actual audio.
Nice.
Wow,
Yeah.
who put on the song?
See what I mean by unique? It's just gunshot sounds.
Yeah, but overall, I think this is probably one of those songs that if I, you know, wanted to introduce someone to the band, this is one of the songs I would probably pick for their early period, because it's, you know, a very easy song to get into. Well, despite Alexis' objections, I guess I feel like this is a very easy song to get into.
I agree, actually. Well, at least it worked for me back in the day. Just being like, hey, man, do you like Duran Gray? Who are they, Duran Gray? And I'm like, well,
Yeah, and I mean, I still know people who like have the picture of Dai from this video like on their walls and stuff like that, because they think he was such like hot shit with his like long leather coat and his short red hair and stuff.
These people should probably move on.
To be fair, I think said person has their whole apartment covered in pictures of Dai. So
This
Yeah.
person should probably move on.
well, you know.
Okay, next song.
Okay, yeah, let's move on to the next one.
Oh, sorry, 1 second.
Yeah, it's all right.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean it. Oh,
You were actually doing karaoke, we just didn't realize.
I'm gonna blow your head off like raspberry jam.
Okay, I got two things. Number one, over the years I've seen a lot of people confused. First of all, by the song in general, and then second by the way that it's positioned just right before the title track. But my answer to that is that, well, Visual Kei has never really concerned itself with cohesion in the way that outside observers perceive it. You know, like Visual Kei plays with sounds and genres in a very willy-nilly way. It's more about like things like, this is our worldview, which makes sense to them, but might not make a whole lot of sense to an outsider.
Yeah.
The second is just the song itself. And I was really thinking about it, like this album is from 2000, and it was before the whole nu metal era. But punkier tracks were actually still really popular. A song like this can be found like even as early as Lunacy's Suspicion.
Yes.
But then also just right before Kuroyume's later punk albums came out. And if you put that side by side with this one, it's not a huge departure. But what makes this unique is that, again, that this band is fucking great, and Toshio is incredible, and the production on this album is incredible. So it becomes its like own thing. I never heard or seen Barry being compared to anything else, other than maybe like at best to other Deer and Grey tracks.
See, actually, it's interesting you mentioned Luna Sea, because I think that the main riff sounds a lot like the intro riff from Shade.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
It's just such a different vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a different vibe, but it's sort of like the similar style of riffing and tempo. But I have to say, I really love this song. I feel like the intro does this song such a disservice, because I feel like a lot of people will just turn this off before they even get to the song.
You know
Because they're
what?
like, what
You
the
are
hell?
probably right.
Yeah, there's a lot of samples in this song that kind of are just like bad English acting.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's supposed to allude to the subject matter of the song, which was about childhood domestic abuse or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's such an upbeat song, and the samples are so kind of awkward that you don't really take it seriously. It's just a good jam track.
Bad English, me and Frederick feel called out.
I mean, it's not badly worded, it's just more badly performed.
Wait, Aaron, you just made a really good pun. A good jam track.
I
I don't know if that's intentional, but I like it.
didn't even think of that.
Wow.
Are the samples original, or I thought maybe they were from like a movie or something?
I think they are original. I couldn't imagine this acting passing in any form of a film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they used
True.
literally accosted some foreigners on the
Yeah.
street and were like, "Can you please say these lines?"
Yeah, I dug and dug to find some credits for these samples, and I'm pretty sure they're original because they didn't credit any like films or copyrighted
You know,
material.
they were even making like some Turkish Star Wars and shit, and they were like, no, we cannot use this. Somewhere Dynamite Tommy is walking through the bazaar, and he's like, I'll take it.
Yeah, it's just such a disservice to this track, because I think it's an amazing song. Like, it's one of my favorites on the whole album.
It's a really cool punk song. It's like a punk song with a D-beat rhythm, which I love.
Yeah, and it also just has this very like soaring VK chorus, which I really like.
Yeah.
And also, you know, the stuff Kyo does with his like funny vocal trills at places. I just really love it when he does that. It's like such a Visual Kei thing also.
Dude, I feel like I want to look up the origins for that trilling oi. That oi thing that they always do in Visual Kei, like have been doing since like the mid to late 90s.
Yeah.
Like, who did that
You know what? Good
first, I
question.
wonder?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's Luna Sea, at least.
It's definitely not. I can't even imagine
the
Riichi doing
PC Bingo, Lunacy, Metronome, Deer and Grey. Just one more missing.
Yeah, Kuroyume has
yeah.
been mentioned.
Because I don't think I've ever heard that in Western punk, even though it's always in VK punk songs.
Yeah, I feel like it's a distinctly Visual Kei trait. Yeah, and I have to say that when I saw this song live for the first time, also it was one of those songs without live videos, so I saw it live the first time at the concert in 2017, and I was really blown away by like the live energy of it. Like during the heavy part, the whole audience is like headbanging and this band is going really hard and stuff. And it's also they do not play the samples. They didn't play the samples live.
Good.
So that's a relief as well. Imagine if just, you know, they had brought this old like, I don't know, like cassette tape up on stage and like pressed play just to get the samples on.
The lights are off, the audience repeats everything. Then goes crazy.
They sing along.
Exactly.
Kaoru's fedora is flying all over the fucking place.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah. So my main takeaway from this is that they really should have skipped the intro and the interlude. It does not do the songs any favors, and I think it has made a lot of people not even listen to the song.
Yeah, it's hard to take seriously. Like, it's hard not to laugh as soon as that starts playing, and then you just have like a totally different impression going into the song than is intentional, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. But I mean, it's a cool song. I feel like it's the fastest song on the album. I was comparing sort of like the BPMs just in my head, and this is the fastest song. The second might be Hydra.
Yeah, this. I think this is the fastest by a pretty large margin, even. No, wait, Rasetsukoku is pretty fast.
Yeah, that's also quite fast. It's sort of a thrash metal song.
Yeah, I actually even wrote for this one that I feel like my experience of it live sort of felt like the riff was almost like VK thrashy, but I think you are probably more accurate when you guys said it's more of a fast punky riff rather than a thrashy riff.
The riffs are very metal, but it's entirely in the beat that makes it punk, I think.
Oh,
because
right.
that beat,
I agree.
That's a D beat, which is like Discharge is one of the bands that sort of popularized that beat, which is huge in punk music for a long time. But the riffs are very metal, yeah. So I think it's kind of just a hybrid, as all things are in BK, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, that's why the genre is so interesting. They don't have any concept of what is okay and what isn't okay to mix.
That's true.
I know, that's why they put the sample.
They're like, who cares? Just throw everything in.
I feel like there's probably a lot of Western bands guilty of like really hammy samples as well. So
True. Oh, there's plenty. I could think of a lot. Oh, I guess before we move on, Kaoru wrote this song, so that's an interesting thing. Kaoru's always kind of an eclectic member. You never really know what he's gonna make. Punk, metal.
Yeah, I feel like he's usually the one writing the majority of the songs, and then everyone else just has input when he sort of decides it's all right for them to have it. Like, it's like Dai, you can write a song for this next album, I guess.
Right.
And Kyo, you want to play something that's cute, you can try, I guess. And those kind of things. And I think the majority of everything is decided by Kaoru. That's why he's the one who doesn't have any solo project, because at this point, at least, Deering Grey is almost like his project, and the rest of them are sort of tagging along for the ride.
That's very true, yeah. He's never done any solo stuff. He kind of just, this is his band.
Yeah, exactly. Should we move on to the title track?
Yeah.
And before we continue, just a quick word from our sponsor.
Alright, gang, I'm here on my own free will, ready to talk to you about Raresat.net. Raresat is your source for rare and not so rare imported Japanese rock, metal, and visual kei outside of Japan. Their prices compete with the street prices in Japan, so when you shop at Raresat.net, you save on import fees, and then you can buy even more. The event of this season, Visual Blizzard, continues. New items are added to the store every single f***ing day. And they're giving away free stuff. Wow, oh my god. Every single week. So follow them at Raresat on Twitter for more information. And remember, if you're a first-time buyer on Raresat.net, you can use the promo code VKPC at checkout for 10% off. Wow. Incredible. Get your rares today.
Dang, that really crossed some rating levels.
Yeah.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, get your friends and enemies to tune in to the VKPC. Thanks for listening. Now back to the show.
You could also do a run where it's like you've just been shot and you have to say those last words. Those are your last words. And you're just, well, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
That's for the next one.
And now back to the episode. I have to say this one might be their most ambitious track of all time.
Totally in agreement.
Yeah, Or at least it's up there with Vinushka. It's the only one I would consider a debate about it with. But to me, this is their most ambitious track.
It's certainly the longest on the album. Freaking 11-minute epic.
Every song on this is pretty long, like 5 to 6 minutes. And then towards the end of the album, they're like, all right, how about an 11-minute track to go with all that?
Yeah. And even then, you still have Sakuro left, which is 8 minutes
Right.
as well.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
No. Oh, yeah. And just to clarify, this was the title track Macabre, or Macabre, or however you say, Macabre.
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 And then that kanji, that old timey kanji.
Yes.
The old timey kanji for my cab.
It's like 12 characters and it all means my cab.
Yeah.
Indeed. So maybe for once, let James start with this one.
I don't really have anything to say about this song other than it's pretty long.
Oh.
And personally, I mean, I like this song, but in the context of the album, it makes me kind of tired because after Barry, it kind of seems like the album's getting to a close. And then you look and it's like, oh, the next track is 11 minutes. And then I've got that 8.5-minute song coming up. And yeah, I mean, for me, like, I start to get tired and thinking, like, maybe I should take a break from this album, honestly, and listen to it later, listen to the rest later or something.
I wonder if this is a way for James to say that he actually only listened to the album up until Barry, and then this song started, and he was like, nah, I'm good. I didn't listen to the rest.
No, but honestly, like, the rest of the album is a lot slower. Starting with this track, I think, and I do start to get bored, just like because at this point I've been listening to music for a long time, and there's not a lot to like give me energy. So I don't know. I it drags on a little bit for me.
I mean, it's a fair point, but I couldn't possibly call this song dragging or boring personally.
We are starting the conversation on one of the best Visual Kei tracks of all time in a very negative way.
Yeah.
Certainly
you threw it to
in
me,
the
and
running
that's-
for the best
Yeah,
track of the 2000s.
It was a mistake throwing it to James. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think so.
Sorry. Yeah. So, yeah, Aaron, do you have any hype to give us about this song?
Oh, and I was just gonna say it's a really cool sort of power. It's almost a power ballad, but not really, because it starts off really kind of post rocky, and then it goes more classic rock and just kind of it's a really sort of emotional track, I guess. It's I hate to always allude to Luna Sea on this podcast, but I feel like it's just inevitable. But it feels like one of those Sugizo long epic tracks where it's just like a croony vocal over some really pretty guitars and just really sort of just like a nice slow steady pace. Also, I feel like the bass line in this song is stronger than what I would typically hear from a Luna Sea song. No offense to J fans, but I love the bass in this song. It's so good.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I think you said like I don't remember, you mentioned some genre early on in your statement.
Oh yeah, post rock. It's got a post rock.
I feel like I would add maybe progressive to that. Would you agree with that?
It's a bit progressive. I listen to a lot of progressive rock, and it's got progressive elements for sure. But it still pretty much stays on its one track for most of the song.
Yeah, and also
it does feel kind of like an opera.
And it does go full circle at the end. Sort of, it comes back to where it all started, in a way.
Yeah, in fact, whenever the song dials back and the guitars get a little clean, and then it starts to change, I feel like that's the most interesting segment. Like up to that point, it's kind of a build-up, but once the guitars get clean and it starts just like dialing back and then swelling up again.
Yeah,
I love that part.
And also, when they play this song live, they use this very sort of insect-heavy imagery. They use a lot of film footage of insects. They have the screen and they show video footage of insects. And I feel like, in a way, this song feels a lot like, like following the life cycle of an insect.
For sure. I actually looked up some trivia about this song, and it's referencing a book called The Butterfly Collector, and it's basically a story about a guy who wants to kidnap someone he loves to turn her into a butterfly so he can keep her like a possession.
Oh, nice.
Which I guess fits the macabre theme.
Yeah.
So It's got that vibe where it's almost like a unrequited love, but in a sort of bizarre, deranged sort of way, which is directly related to like insects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's another Kaworu song, by the way, of course.
I'm going to take a different approach, but I will still fill up the VKPC bingo row, saying that it doesn't remind me of Lunacy, but it does remind me of Kuroyuma's second album a lot. First of all, it's nice that they're that ambitious that it's their second album and they're already gunning for their own Genesis of the Mind type of an epic. I'll just the way that this song starts building, like how the bass is like the main driver in the verse, along with the kind of quasi-tribal drumming, while the two guitars are having a conversation with each other like two birds of a different species. One thing that we haven't really talked about this during this episode is Kyo's very much improved singing. Until the chorus, he's more like narrating, like explaining things, not really like singing per se. He breaks his voice very slightly and strains it just a little bit in these low-key ways that are very different from the type of approach which they have now. You know, when you switch up the growls and then you do something like very highfalutin. Everything is very subtle on this album, especially his vocals. He doesn't blow the fucking air horn every time he's switching up styles, you know?
No, but I agree with that as well. I feel like his efforts are a lot less sort of about the min-max he does these days with, you know, changing from falsetto to death growls like twice per minute, or twice per second, I mean. Twice per minute is not very impressive. But yeah, just like, but back in these days, he was...
Just when he gets around it like a sloth.
Yeah, but I was going to say, back in these days, it was more like minute stuff. But I still feel like, I agree with what you said, that he has come a long way in a very short time. I mean, if you listen to Missa and then to this one, you can tell it's quite a radical improvement.
It's a different guy.
Yeah, almost. I mean, you can still tell like his unique sort of way his voice sounds, but it's a lot more refined and controlled.
Shout out to the fucking prog organ. You know which one I'm talking about? Like when the song kind of breaks down and the buzzing insects start consuming the entire song, and then suddenly it comes on, and it's of course, because it's this album, it comes through some fucking effect that it sounds all fucked up. Like it's it's pitches, you know. There's like a dozen different sounds on top of each other again, and then the members start trading solos and stuff. It's wonderful song.
Yeah, I agree with that as well, and I think that's just looking at this song through that lens of Visual K in the year 2000. I feel like it's an extremely ambitious effort.
See, this is what we could have had if they just decided to keep expanding on that classic formula. But then some dudes were like, "No, let's play Slipknot."
Oh yeah, no, it's like, you know, yeah. Let's make Six Ugly happen, I guess.
Well, I don't think Deer and Grey is like at fault with it. I think they always took the high road in some sense. But I mean, like just the genre as a whole really
diverged,
went under the bar, so to speak.
Yeah, let's blame 21st century.
Yeah, god damn it. Everything was so good before.
Yeah, then you know, Must had to start writing his own songs instead of letting, you know, the Speed ID dudes do it for him.
To be honest, I don't think Alina Mariage has influenced anyone. I love a lovely band, but I don't think they have any impact. Maybe the first album.
I want to blame
most
them.
Certainly not the second one.
I want to blame them.
But they might have been the first who stole from Slipknot, so that's a merit still.
Yeah, I'm. You know,
that's an
I have
honorable
the feeling
discharge
from the genre.
You shot yourself in the foot in a toilet, and then you came back and said it was the enemy.
Yeah. Do we have anything more on this one?
The remake.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course. It's probably worth mentioning that as well. Like I mentioned earlier, I was surprised they played the original version at the tour I went to because, they made a remake back in, was it 2013, 14, something like that?
Is it shorter?
No, it's longer. It's on their Unraveling album.
James is not on board. If they come up with like a 3-minute version of this song, he's all in it, but
It's actually, I think it's like over 16 minutes. But I think James would prefer it to this one because there is more, chugging and things like that. James is a good fan of the old chug.
Sure, yeah.
I see a train coming. It's hipster opinion. I think that remake is ass. I fucking despise that Final Fantasy fucking thing that goes on it. It detracts from the perfect structure of the song. It's such an add-on. It's like Mr. Potato Head, and then you just take like something else from a completely different toy line and you put it on its fucking forehead. And you're like, well, here you go. I'm surprised so many people love it. Like, I don't really see people not liking it like anywhere.
I think it's
so it's just
fine
in this household.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's fine. I prefer the original, but I think the new version is all right. It's not like some of their other remakes, which is, objectively terrible, like the Obscure re-recording.
Oh yeah, and the production is so much worse.
That is also true, but that
takes out of the nuances and the personality of the song. And this is why it's good that you cannot give dislikes on YouTube anymore. So my feelings won't get hurt.
Should we move on to the next one?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
I realize I've been very unfair towards Newer Deer and Grey during this episode, and I would just like to say that this track is not that great. So, at least I'm not like completely biased. It's first of all, it's a total outlier in the discography. Like, it stands pretty much alone. You wouldn't hear anything like this from Kyo until Sukikia or something. On the production side of things, it's very bare bones. It has like the least extra rock elements in it, but nonetheless, outstanding bass line, nice look from Kyo.
Can you guess who composed it? Groovy, bluesy guitar rhythms.
Die? Really?
Yeah.
Yep, it's a Die song.
Oh, nice.
It's in my opinion, this song sounds a lot like something you'd hear on a Bucktick album. That's my opinion. It sounds bluesy. It sounds groovy. The vocals are clean. It sounds kind of new wavy. So it reminds me of a Bucktick song. I could hear Sakurai singing over this easily.
Yeah, I can see that. I think it's definitely the least Deer and Grey song on this album.
Yeah, for sure. It sounds like they're sort of just like playing with their influences with this song.
Yeah.
The only thing I have to say about it is I looked up the lyrics and they are just as unexceptional as the song.
Oh, yeah.
But it's an okay song. I don't hate it.
It's no Hydra for the lyrics, but
it's no Hydra for the lyrics, exactly.
No, see, I think this song suffers because it's on such an exceptional album. It's an all-right song by most standards. It's just out of the ones on this album, I feel it's the one that stands out the least and leaves the least impression. I mean, I saw this song live 10 times and I cannot remember anything of it, any of those shows.
You know what? I'm not negative on it. It brings some nice variety in it, but it obviously has the least to bite into out of this entire album.
That's what I'm saying as well. I feel like the level to be the worst song on this album is very, very high. Like, you don't have to be a bad track to be the worst track on this album, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's sort of bare bones in a lot of ways. It doesn't have a lot of interesting things going on beyond Die's sort of like catchy and vaguely swingy guitars.
Yep, exactly. It's probably my second least favorite on the album. You'll be surprised what's my first least.
Oh, well,
Oh,
you should have
spoiler.
said it.
Bleep
You
that.
spoiled it. I'm gonna
Yeah,
bleep it.
Yeah,
Bleep it.
no, cut it out. Cut
Yeah.
it out. I'll say that later. I'll say this song sucks. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, I guess there's not really much more to say about this part track, at least not on my part.
Yeah, let's spare the audience from our rambling at least once.
yeah. Let's quickly move on to the next one.
Okay.
Although,
Okay.
could have said that I was kind of anticipating to hear it live, and it felt like they habitually ignored the song, much like they did with Barry and Egners.
Yes, it's one of those 3 songs that never had a proper live version. And I think beyond one concert in like 2014 or something like that, in a fan club live, they hadn't played it since the Macabre tourings. So it's also one of those very forgotten tracks. That's true.
That's understandable.
Yeah, I think it's for a good reason for this one.
Yeah. This song is kind of a breath of fresh air after that last one. And it's very energizing because I mean, for me, I started to get tired around track 9. And that next track kicks in and I'm like, okay. And then it's this one, it's like, oh, okay. This is back to what I like about it.
And then you get a quarter of an hour of ballads.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Rasetsukoku is a rad little thrash number. It's another song where it's clearly the band playing with their influences, only I'd say thrash metal fits them better than blues rock,
Yeah.
just because they do it so well.
Reminds me of Vasala's Victim of D. Not like it's Lift or anything, but it's similar in style. And I think that song was kind of influential on their way of playing guitar in the first place for these heavy songs during the early stretch of their career.
I mean, they were very close friends during the early days, so I wouldn't be surprised if there was some cross-pollination of ideas, especially in the indies.
Yeah, that's why I figured.
Indies and Los Sades days, they were very close. They did a lot of 2-mans and stuff like that.
It's also very obvious when these VK bands do these songs to hype up the crowd and get them all fired up. This is one of those songs.
Yeah, definitely, and it serves the purpose extremely well. Like, I think this is definitely in my top 5 Deering Grey songs at a concert. I mean, it's one of those songs where you just have a ton of fun live. Like in Japan, the whole audience headbangs in sync to this, which is quite something interesting to participate in. And, you know, in the West, whenever I've seen this live, it's just been like a massive mosh pit and everyone used to, going at it. But I have to say that there's a remake of this song as well. And I think the remake was, made in the modern style with 7-string guitars and all that. But I still think this one instrumentally feels heavier. I don't know why. Maybe it's the mixing, because the remake lacks the proper room sound and everything like that, so it sounds pretty flat. But
Yeah,
I don't know. This one just feels heavier.
Mm-hmm. A lot of it's probably in the mixing for sure. It just feels more. It's not really brick walled, but it feels really compressed. So it feels like it's like really kind of an oppressive noise, as opposed to the newer one, which is more clear and you feel like you can escape it and hear nuance and all that stuff. I feel like a lot of heaviness comes from intensity, and that's not always just the composition, it's the mix as well.
Yeah, I think though this one is one of the songs where you can tell that Kyo kind of is trying to go for some harsh vocals, and it's not panning out 100%. But
Yeah, I love the vocals.
yeah, I like the vocals as well, but in a very, Visual K way. But I think that, this might be one of those points when he started thinking like, well, I guess I'm going to have to learn to do like proper harsh vocals and stuff like that. Because, like for the next album and certainly for Six Ugly had already been practicing doing that. Overall, though, I think this is a great track, and it's certainly, like James said, a breath of fresh air coming after these pretty long tracks and before the rest of the long, slow tracks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Should I tell my opinion about the remake, or does everyone know by now what it's probably going to be?
Let me guess. You love it.
I do like seeing this song being played live, and that's the guitar tone they use. But live, it's a great energy, and the crowd knows this is it. Like, it's going to be the last song.
Yeah. Unless there's, a special sustain the untruth extravaganza at the end.
I'm still waiting for that.
Yeah,
So-
but usually this is one of those songs they would close the set with. They closed the sets back in the day for this tour with this track, like it was the sort of final song. And I think also for a lot of other lives they played this, it's been like the final track or one of the final tracks, like to really give the audience sort of like this last burst of energy before it's all over. And I think as that, it's doing a really good job. It's a great track, and it's one of those that I can see live 100 times and I would still like to see it again. Unlike, Sustain the Untruth, which I've hated since day one.
or give the last burst of energy to James before he collapses on the floor in hysterics after 15 minutes of straight.
Oh,
I mean, for the record, I don't dislike really long songs. I think it's just in the context of this album. It's a hard sell to put a 10-minute song towards the end of the album, followed by another like 8-minute and then a 6-minute song.
yeah, and that's fair.
Next one.
Yeah, let's move on. I would say probably this is one of the greatest ballads this band has ever made. It's absolutely one of those really soul-crushing songs you spent a lot of time crying to in your early teens.
You mean my early 30s?
Well, I haven't been there yet, but who knows?
In my opinion, every time I heard this song, even back in the day, it felt like almost like a precursor to Ain't Afraid to Die, because I was already aware of that song by the time I heard this. And so every time I'd hear it, I'd be like, this sounds like it would go really well next to Ain't Afraid to Die. So I would listen to them together a lot whenever I was feeling particularly sad and morose. And they fit really well.
You know why?
Hey, one thing though, we didn't mention the title of this track. It's called
Zakuro.
Sakuro, yes. Sorry, go on.
It's the fact that all the ballads during this era are composed exactly the same way. They start very slow. A couple of guitar licks come up here and there. It's cute in a conversational tone. And then all the instruments start coming in one by one, and the song slowly starts taking shape until it crescendos at the end.
Yeah.
That's basically the format of every single one of these ballads. It's also why I don't really care about songwriter credits that much, when usually it's the whole of the album that determines the shape more. Although when you said that Audrey was composed by Die, I could totally see that. So there is definitely something to that, though.
I feel like this song, though, it has this very sparse sound compared to a lot of their other ballads. It has that interplay between the two guitars, but there's really not a whole lot more happening, especially in the first half of the song. And even then, there's not a whole lot of things added on top of each other. It's got, the distorted guitar and the solo guitar, but beyond that, there really isn't that much else happening.
Right.
Ain't Afraid to Die is kind of similar, though.
Yeah, but that has the piano and the choir and all of those things.
Yeah, that's true.
Ain't Afraid to Die, it's one of my favorite Duran Gray songs ever. Whereas Zakuro kind of just feels I could lose it forever and I wouldn't care.
Oh.
See, I would
That's me,
argue
though.
that Ain't Afraid to Die is sort of like a more grand and bombastic and big sort of song,
Yeah.
with the whole children's choir and everything. While this Sakura, to me at least, feels like a more sort of personal and intimate song, a ballad.
Yeah.
Like it feels like it's more sort of like focused on Kyo, and his vocal performance and stuff like that. Which is, by the way, one of the best on the album, I think, in this track. He's really just really shredding himself, crying
Yeah, he's
and
really
stuff.
sort of dialed back and nuanced. Like he sounds like he's really feeling it.
Yeah.
He sounds like he's really in the zone.
See, Aaron, it doesn't matter what you're going to say now. Frederick is going to tell James to edit you out and let him have the last word. And they'll just put it in post of you saying, yeah, you're right, Frederick. The song rules.
Get just like sentence mix all my consonants until it sounds like I'm saying Frederick.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, you are
now
right.
you said it, so... you said it, so we have a sample now.
True, yeah.
Yeah, I don't even need to do that now. Great.
Yeah, so now we have it. I can just, yeah.
But yeah, speaking of the vocal performance, have you seen the Blitz 5 Days performance of the song?
Oh, that's the one I always cried to as a kid. So
yeah, shit is fucking harrowing.
Yeah, it's a great performance, really great. In general, though, that whole 5 days of concert is some of their best they've done. Certainly for the early days, it's the best probably live release.
Very good renditions of Macabre songs.
Yes.
Yeah, like on this song especially, it stands in such a contrast to the way that they make songs now. They like to keep things tight. There's not a lot of dead air or like air in general. It's both the way they produce and the way they compose. And here, like the ballads on this album are so loose.
Yeah, in a way I see this one sort of like in a way in connection with Mushi from the next album as sort of sibling songs, just in the way it's structured similarly. Just very sparse guitars and sort of vaguely crescendo chorus and things like that. I prefer this one though.
You could make like a Duran Gray sad mix and just put Zakuro and Ain't Afraid to Die and Hotarubi and Mushi.
Yeah.
All the remakes.
Extra sad.
That's sad for a different reason. If I want to be really sad, I'll just put on the obscure re-recording on repeat and just cry.
Dude, I have a family. I cannot do that to myself.
That's just harrowing how bad that is. But yeah, also, this song ends in sort of like this very sort of like, it has this drawn out end drone kind of thing. And they used this as like a curtains down kind of thing during the tour I went to. Like they played it last on the main set. So when they started the set with the title track Macabre, they would like pull this screen that they had in front with the projections up during that song, and then during this song they would like halfway, like right before the sort of ending comes on, they started like pulling it down again, which was quite powerful. And they had some kind of like disco light with what's it called, like this that shoots like light prisms in different directions and things like that.
Yeah, that's a disco ball.
Disco ball, that's the one. Yeah. It's kind of hard to, take it seriously, though, when you're talking about Sakura. Then it's like, yeah, they had a huge disco ball in the venue every day.
Honestly, your description of what a disco ball is felt more poignant than saying disco ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had a giant sphere of light, sphere of prisms drawing light into the audience.
Yeah, you made a disco ball sound really poetic. And,
Nice.
Prismatic
yes,
orb.
that's what I had. And also a funny anecdote and trivia is that the first time I saw this one live was in 2011 in Helsinki, and Alexi was at the same gig, and we didn't really know each other very well back then, so we didn't know that we were at the same concert.
Yeah, and I remember nothing. You had appropriately red sweatpants on, I believe.
You?
Kyo.
Oh, okay. I thought you said I had appropriately red sweatpants on. I'm like, what? Alexi was wearing red sweatpants.
I wish, of course.
I'm guessing the reason you forgot it was that you had too much vodka before the gig.
Unfortunately, I was painfully sober at the time.
Oh, really?
I don't know why I don't remember. Maybe my foremost memories of the gig, other than the set list, just like as it is, like as text,
Yeah.
was that I was very disappointed because I was coming off of the London concert in 2010, which was incredible. And that was because of the audience. The Finnish audience is notoriously bad. There's no salvaging a concert with a Finnish audience. I'm sorry. It's always just going to be categorically bad, whereas British people go crazy.
Wow.
Once again, we just want to make clear that Alexis' views does not necessarily reflect the view of the Visual K podcast.
Didn't we have a Finnish co-host at one point, or a guest?
Alexis.
Jigsaw is Finnish, right? No,
Jigsaw is Hungarian.
Hungarian. Wow, that's right.
Yeah, Alexis Finnish.
I thought you kicked me out of the show, and that was like the way
Wait
to
a second.
fucking Stalin me
Do you guys
out of this
remember-
thing where you're just like, was there just a person here? No, I don't think so.
Just like mute Alexi's mic, like no fins in this podcast.
Yeah.
No fins.
Yeah. This is the VK podcast where we guarantee 100% free of fins.
No fins
Fin
allowed.
free. Just like how I like my concerts. Fin free.
Wow.
No, but you have to admit that the audience was pretty lame.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I think the London audience is great. The Berlin audience was great as well, at least the ones we saw.
Yeah.
So I think that, yeah, I mean, the audience in Sweden is not amazing either. Maybe it's just a Scandinavian thing. We like standing and looking, not interacting.
We are kind of like that. And then when people do show a lot, it can be kind of alcohol induced, and that's not always a good thing either, when they can sort of barely hold themselves together.
Yeah, trying to mosh well, like throwing up and falling over and stuff.
Yeah, but amazing set list.
Yeah, definitely. It's the only time I got to see the original version of Karasu as well, since they remade it in 2014 as well, so they stopped playing the original. Yeah, one more funny anecdote about this one is that the show we went to in 2011 was actually the last time they played Sakura until the Mode Off tour in 2017, so I actually saw the last performance and then the first one again after 6 years. Wow, thank you. Wow! Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Great.
Okay.
Good.
Yes, great.
Final song.
Yeah, let's move on to the final song.
So I feel like this song is Duran Gray's attempt to sort of get in on that casual radio play market with bands like Larkin Seal and Perrow at the time. It feels kind of at odds with the rest of the album, which I feel like even in its slow points is at least a little bit creative, maybe a little inspired. But this song just bores me to tears. It sounds like a million other songs I've heard before, no matter how many times I listen to it. A lot of people I know love it. It's like one of their favorite Duran Gray songs from this era, but I just can't get into it. It just feels like the first half of the album feels like we've been fighting through a dirty alley full of mutants and committing acts of murder and debauchery. And now with Tayo no Ao, we're like hand gliding over some scenic mountains with our loved ones and laughing. And it just feels so contrived and flat and just boring.
So what you're telling me is that the weird SpongeBob SquarePants tropical bit halfway through the song is actually because they wanted to become the next Glay, and they took like a consultation meeting, and it was
Bingo.
like, see guys, this is what you should do.
They wanted that Glay money.
You're saying the bossa nova part is not great.
Yeah, the SpongeBob SquarePants tropical bit.
That's what the genre is known as from now on.
That's actually what it says in the liner notes on the album.
I have to say though, I absolutely disagree with Aaron on this song. I think this is a great end to this album after Sakura. It's like a needed cleanser. It has this sort of vaguely hopeful sound to it, which is not that common for Duran Gray, even though it's not a happy song per se, and it has sort of a wistful quality to it, I would say. But does yield positive emotional response after Sakura. It's actually one of my personal favorites, and I feel like a lot of people has the opinion that Aaron has, that it's like the worst song on the album and that it's too happy and stuff like that, but I never saw it like that. I think it's great, and also the bass really shines on this track in a lot of places.
It feels like there's as many opinions as there are Darren Gray fans. I think it's very bittersweet. I don't see any hope at all. It's like total rejection and disassociation from yourself. Just affirms my resolve to walk into the mountains to relieve the burden from my fellow villagers. And so I found this old Kyo interview from 2002, maybe. And what he says is, in answering some question, yeah, that's right. For instance, Tayu no Ao, usually easy to listen to, and I think there are people who find the lyrics are a little sad. But if you read the lyrics after hearing this, it's like it's awful or perhaps painful, too painful. I really don't want to sing that kind of song. I don't know exactly how to take it, but I kind of get it.
I think I know what that is. I remember back in the day reading about reading. I mean, I tend to discredit stuff that I've heard this far back because so many bad translations in the VK scene back in the day.
Man, he wrote it about his dead girlfriend.
Yeah. No, but like somebody said that in an interview, he said it was about a personal experience of when his fiance left him for his best friend who was a guitarist of another band.
Oh, I've heard that. He does reference some unpleasant person in another band around their early years. Many times in some interviews I've seen. So there is definitely something to that.
I think
I don't know if that's like exactly what happened, but
I think it's one of those rare songs from that era when Kyo was actually singing about personal experiences, because it's like basically about.
You're saying Tsumi the Batsu is not like a diary entry?
You know, he wanted us to believe that, but I think we know him well enough now.
1 sad sexually, 2 sad sexually, 3.
Hold on, that's too many. Too many sad sexualies.
You know, 3's a crowd.
Actually, you know what you guys said actually would make sense about this song, because it's also one of those songs they stopped playing immediately after the original touring for this album. And they played it once after that at the Blitz 5 days, but after that nothing until the Mode of tour. So it would make sense that it's a song maybe he doesn't like performing, or at least didn't like performing for a long time.
Yeah, maybe it's too sensitive.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like it's sort of like wraps up the album nicely, and it sort of comes back from the note that Sakura left us on. So I think it ties everything together very nicely.
Oh my god, guys, I just realized. You know what it's actually about? It's James sitting in his living room. What? It's been fucking 73 minutes, and the last 15 minutes was all balance. The song is over. He walks to his window, he opens it, he breathes fresh air, and he says, finally, it is done.
No, the truth is just me asleep at the end of this album.
Blissful sleep. You know what? That's not all that bad. Maybe there is hope after all.
Yeah,
I could sleep to this song, I think.
I definitely can.
You know what? I wonder if we even come off as fans during this entire episode, because I just have to reiterate, like, I'm a huge fan of this band. It's just that, you know, when you've been a fan of something for 15 plus years, you kind of get bored of saying the good things all the time.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, and also I think you feel entitled also to say the critical
super
things.
Entitled, yeah.
Because, you know,
yeah.
You've been a fan for so long, you kind of feel like, you know, the band owes you or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you're more forgiving starting out. You know, you're just so into the band that you're just like, no, even the bad songs are good. And then, you know, you grow up and you're like, I don't have time for songs I don't like.
Yeah.
So,
or even in Dear and Gray's case, you know, are there even bad songs? Like,
are there?
Just take their worst stuff and then put some Gina new band releasing that song, and everyone would lose their minds.
No, I think it's pretty common opinion to not like this song, to be honest.
I don't know. My social circle, everybody loved it. They were like, dude, this is like the ballad of our time.
Oh, that's great.
For me, maybe 50-50.
Yeah, it's one of the more contentious songs on this album, at least I think.
It's weird. I don't know what's so like offensive about it, or like so.
It just sounds like a commercial.
Sort of. For me, it exists, and I like it.
Yeah,
but it's not divisive in a way that I can see like Barry being specifically because of the, samples and all.
Yeah.
no, I agree with that. So it's been a long album, guys, but maybe we should try to summarize a bit. Personally, I think that one takeaway is indeed that it's a very long album, but I feel like it's a coherent album. It makes sense together. And it's not a fatiguing album.
It's coherent in its sort of scattered style, as in it feels like it.
Yeah,
it goes well as an album, but every song feels like its own experience.
Oh, absolutely. You don't need to listen to the album as a whole, but when you do, it doesn't feel like anything is out of place, I would say.
Exactly.
And also, in my opinion, it's probably close to their peak, in my opinion. It's definitely in my top 3 Deering Grey albums, which, vary from day to day. I won't mention the other 2, because then I can just switch them out at will.
True.
Despite now trashing it for 2 hours or something, it's my favorite Deering Grey album. That usually doesn't even change. It's been there for quite some time. Super ambitious, incredible production. I think there's so many different looks in here. They wouldn't do that again, maybe on Kiso a little bit, but I think after Kiso they would definitely start toning things down a little bit. And even as they got like kind of more ambitious again later on and started like expanding the format, I think it was in that sort of metal. It's good though, it's great. Obviously, Ouroboros is one of their best albums for sure.
Yeah.
But this is still, for me, it's the peak. A very unique album. There's nothing like it in Visual Kei either.
Yeah, it's still stand out even to this day.
Well, actually, there's nothing like almost any of their albums in Visual Kei for that matter. But you still get what I'm saying. Like,
yeah. Well, there's loads of imitations, but nobody has come quite close enough to really, basically style match Deering Grey, especially during this period.
On this album, especially, like, nobody matches their chemistry.
Yeah.
Well,
sure.
they are bands, obviously, but still, like, they belong in the top echelon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I also want to put something into perspective for people to understand what a creative force the band was during these years. Gauze, Macabre, and Kiso were all written and released in a span of 3 years.
Crazy.
That's nuts.
Yeah, so basically the time they today take to release, take a break in between 2 albums, they released 3 amazing albums, sort of like almost genre-defining albums.
Yeah.
So that's quite the creative output they had there around the turn of the millennium.
This album, what I feel like was the sort of the moment that they felt like they had enough success to sort of make something indulgent, something more for themselves, as opposed to, what are people going to respond to? This album feels more like they're making an album for the band.
Right, yeah.
Which kind of does feel like they're not really sure if it turned out like how they wanted. Because, like we found out during this episode, they stopped playing quite a few of the tracks almost immediately.
But the thing is that this is one of those albums that even during their like metal days in like the late 2000s, they were still saying that they were proud of this album. Like they still, when this album was mentioned in interviews, this was one they could like stand by.
Oh,
like
interesting.
when people mentioned Gauze and Missa and stuff, they were kind of like, yeah, I don't know about that stuff, but but when they talked about the Macabre album, they were still sort of like, yeah, this is sort of like, this is still something we can stand by.
Maybe it's more about playability live as opposed to
Yeah.
I was thinking the exact
I
same
think
thing.
so.
A lot of these songs would be pretty difficult to implement and put on, like, for technical reasons, and then the runtime too. You can play like 2 other songs.
Yeah, I kind of want to hear like James' summary impressions on the album as a whole, though, since he's the one who's probably least familiar with it previously.
I think it's a great album. I agree with a lot of the things you guys said. It is very ambitious and indulgent. Like, there are a lot of long songs back to back, and you can tell like the band doesn't really care if you've got the stamina for it. They're gonna put the songs that they want to make out and make the album that they want. And there's definitely a lot of bangers on this album that I really like. Personally, I feel like it drags a bit towards the end, and I think sort of towards the last few tracks, I just wasn't in the mood for those long ballads.
So you're saying that maybe there's a pacing problem. You would have preferred a different order of songs, perhaps?
I don't know if a different order, but I think like Aaron was saying earlier, like I could lose one or two of those tracks towards the end and not miss it.
Honestly, Tayo should have been a single only, and then they should have put like maybe like a track from Kiso on here, or Ain't Afraid to Die. No, well, maybe not, because Sakura plus Ain't Afraid might have been kind of redundant.
Yeah, because that's also worth mentioning that the single-only track Ain't Afraid to Die was written and released during the touring for this album. And I believe it was written while during the touring for this album, Kyo was in an accident on stage with an in-ear monitor that blasted one of his eardrums.
Ouch.
So he was in the hospital for quite a while to rehabilitate his hearing. And during that time, he wrote the lyrics supposedly for Ain't Afraid to Die.
Oh, nice.
Yes, that one came out sort of like towards the very end of the touring for this album as sort of like a standalone single. To this day, I think it might be their only one that is completely standalone. Alex, is that accurate?
I think so. We'll see about World of Mercy, how that's going to be.
Oh, true, yeah. World of Mercy is not on an album either at the moment, at least. But
Yet.
But yeah, until then, at least, it was the only single they had that was not featured on any album. So I feel like it kind of belongs to this canon somehow, the Macabre canon.
I feel like it does.
Yeah. So it's just worth mentioning, you know, we won't make a whole episode just about that track. So, you know, here's the shout out to Ain't Afraid to Die. It's a great ballad, lots of piano, children's choirs, Kyo singing.
If there was a Macabre deluxe, it would be like track 14 maybe.
You know, because because the album wasn't long enough, so it's time to tack on another one.
In the spirit of Deer and Grey, we're actually going to make an episode on it, and it's going to be a 3-parter.
Did Ain't Afraid have a B-side?
No, it had 2
Remix.
remixes, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which was actually made by the members, I think. I think so. I'm not sure. Don't take my word for that. I never listened to the remixes.
Right.
They didn't have any interns free at the time, so...
Yeah, exactly. It was before the days when they hired random Western dudes to make their remixes like Sukekyo does. You know, every Sukekyo album has 10 remixes by Wes Borland or whatever. So before we wrap up the episode, or do you guys have any more things you want to bring onto the table?
I guess I had a little bit of trivia. The cover art is done by the same art duo who gave them the Kai, Vulgar, Withering, and Marrow cover arts. So it's
nice.
a repeat collaborator.
Wait, isn't Marrow just like a photo?
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, I guess he was involved with the cover art design.
He just put like a black filter on it. He was like,
He basically just filtered it and put some text on top.
Yeah, then charged like 200 million yen or something for it.
Yeah.
you charged by the hour. You went to Google. You had lunch.
Dude, that's the job I want, honestly.
Sweet gig.
Yeah, but I really like the album cover and just the packaging in general with the sort of like tactile plastic on the outside and the beads and everything. It feels very premium. It's one of those albums I like taking down from the shelf sometimes and just looking at.
Yeah, it's also nice that it manages to be premium without fucking up your row of CDs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Because sometimes when they make these really bulky albums, you don't even know where to put it.
Yeah,
But that one fits perfectly in line, and still, I was very happy when I got a physical copy of it.
yeah, exactly. It's a very nice album, and I think it's still in print, so people can easily pick up a copy without too much issue, or even get a second hand for quite cheap online. So you know, it's not a hard album to get a physical copy of if someone wants one.
Just be wary of bootlegs.
Please don't buy the Mia Records versions of any Deer and Grey albums. That's a bad look.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so finally, before we wrap up, I kind of want to ask you guys who are a bit more familiar with Deering Grey, like where would you place it in the sort of Deering Grey canon in terms of ranking? Would you say it's one of their better or one of their worst albums?
Well, if you asked me a week ago, before I gave it an actual good adult try, I would put it much lower. But now I would put it as my second favorite. So I would go Gauze, then Macabre, and then Kiso.
Nice.
Alexi said number 1, right?
Number 1.
Sorry. Alexi already stated his favorites.
If I would have to do a top 4 now, it would be Macabre is number 1, and then Gauze, Ouroboros, and Kiso switching places depending on a day.
Right. And James, if you have enough sort of like knowledge about the other Deering Grey albums.
Well, you said this is a question for those more familiar with Deering Grey, so I thought it was for everyone except me.
Yeah, but no, hey, but for you, you know, you were a part of the Gauze episode. So if you compare it to the Gauze album,
actually, here's a fun question for James. Which song from Macabre would you most like to hear Metronome cover?
Wow.
Which song do you want to hear Shiraku's little mousy voice over top of?
Barry, if they have to do the samples.
Oh, true. Oh my god.
well,
You know what would be interesting to hear them do Audrey, just because that's such a weird Deering Grey song. I think that would be even weirder for Metronome.
Electro blues.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, I think the Metronome would do a great hypodermic syringe just because of the funky bass and all of that. I mean, they have a great bassist.
Yeah, I think so
That's
too.
true.
Yeah, but still, I want to know, do you think this one is better than Gauze, or did you prefer Gauze?
I think I like this one better overall.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I think it's more to your tastes in terms of the kind of music you like anyway.
Gauze is more familiar to me though, because I spent more time listening to it back in the day. So some of the tracks, I don't think I had this complete album when I was a teenager, but I did have all of Gauze. So some of the tracks on this were kind of a bit new to me. I hadn't really listened to them before.
Right. Yeah, well, I think that about does it for this session, or do you guys have anything more you want to add?
I think it's enough.
Let's get another gunshot.
That's us after we forced James to listen to the final 15 minutes of the album.
That's me at the end of the album, yeah. And at the end of this recording session as well.
There's no survivors.
Well, so I guess all that's left to do now is to thank everyone for listening, as usual, and thank Aaron for dropping by as our guest again.
Thank you for having me.
You really brought the A game today.
Oh, get it? Because my name is Aaron? Okay.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Well, yeah. Triple A, even. No, double A, sorry, damn it.
Aaron.
No. Aaron! Isn't Aaron spelled with 2 A's? No?
It's AA.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I was going to say double A, but I fucked up. It's like there's not enough A's, so you just added a third A.
Oh, he spells Aaron with 3 A's.
3 A's. It sets me apart.
You really want to be on top of the phone book. It's just, you know.
Actually, everyone has an A in their name except you, Frederick.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah. I have an A in my surname, but we're not repeating that for, stalking purposes. Well, yeah, I guess this is about it. So, yeah. Alexi, it's time.
Sayonara.